On the peaceful morning of September 16th, 2025, the film world lost a great icon when Robert Redford passed away at the age of 89 at his home in Utah. He passed away in his sleep, closing a glorious life journey that spanned more than 6 decades, deeply entrenched in independent cinema and classic Hollywood. His death, surrounded by his family, brought endless regret to millions of fans around the world. Robert Redford was not only a talented actor, but also a pioneering director, an environmental activist, and a founder who changed the face of the film industry. His passing marks the end of an era where handsome, sophisticated acting talent and social commitment blended to create an everlasting legacy. From his early Broadway roles to classic films like Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid and All the President's Men, Robert Redford has always represented sophistication and timeless appeal. He won audiences not only with his handsome looks, but also with his ability to portray the inner depth of his characters. As the founder of the Sundance Film Festival, he opened the door for countless young talents, promoted independent cinema, and brought more authentic stories to the screen. His death came peacefully, without any lasting pain, but it left a huge void in the hearts of his fans. Many shared on social media that they felt like they had lost a part of their childhood, a symbol of classic masculinity and kindness. Robert Redford was born in 1936 in Santa Monica, California, and his life was a journey from difficult youth to the pinnacle of fame. He endured many ups and downs, from the early loss of his mother to later personal losses, but always maintained his resilience and passion. His passing at the age of 89 at his beloved Sundance home seemed like the perfect end to a meaningful life. The exact cause of death has not been released, but his family confirmed that he passed away surrounded by his loved ones, bringing some comfort to those who loved him. The world has lost a legend, but his legacy will live on through his films, festivals, and social activities. The grief was widespread, from Hollywood to international film festivals. Many movie stars paid tribute, calling him a teacher, friend, and inspiration. Robert Redford was not just an actor, but also a symbol of change, from promoting environmental protection to supporting independent art. He lived a full life, and his peaceful passing seemed to reflect the way he lived it: simple, close to nature, and full of meaning. In this introduction, we will explore his journey from his early days to his lasting legacy to understand why his death has caused such a stir around the world. Robert Redford died at his home in Utah, where he spent much of his later life living close to nature. Utah was not only his adopted home, but also where he founded the Sundance Institute, an organization that changed the film industry. His passing in his sleep, at the age of 89, was described as a gentle end to a long journey. Fans around the world flocked to online platforms to share memories, from his favorite films to his inspirational speeches. This death is not only a personal loss, but also the end of an era in Hollywood, where stars not only act but also participate in social change. In a world facing many changes, the passing of Robert Redford reminds us of the value of art and humanity. He devoted his life to telling meaningful stories, from socially critical films to environmental protection projects. Fans' regret is not only the loss of an actor, but also the loss of an important voice. The cause of death has not been revealed in detail, but the family emphasized that he passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. This brings comfort, but also makes many people reflect on his short life and lasting legacy. This introduction will take us on a detailed journey of Robert Redford, from childhood to great achievements. He is a living testament that pursuing passion can change the world. His passing at the age of 89, in his sleep, was a peaceful end to a legend, but his legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. Robert Redford was born on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California, into a middle-class family. His father, Charles Robert Redford Sr., was an accountant for an oil company, while his mother, Martha Woodruff Hart, was a devoted housewife. His family was of mixed heritage, with Irish, Scottish, and English ancestry. Robert's childhood was not always easy. He grew up in the Van Nuys area of Los Angeles, where hectic city life was interspersed with trips to Texas to visit his grandfather, a petroleum engineer. These trips sparked his love of the outdoors, as he was exposed to the vast landscapes and fresh air of the Southwest. An active boy, Robert Redford showed an early interest in art and sports. He enjoyed painting and playing tennis, even hitting balls with the famous Pancho Gonzalez at the Los Angeles Tennis Club. However, his childhood was marred by a mild bout of polio at age 11, which left him briefly in the hospital. This did not discourage him, but rather made him resilient. At Van Nuys High School, Robert was classmates with baseball player Don Drysdale, but he was a self-described bad boy who often skipped class to pursue his own interests rather than focus on his studies. After graduating from high school in 1954, Robert Redford received a partial scholarship to attend the University of Colorado at Boulder. He joined the Kappa Sigma fraternity and worked at the Sink Bar, where his portrait later became iconic. However, his drinking habits cost him his scholarship, and he was expelled after only a year and a half. This was a difficult period when he felt lost and without a clear direction. His decision to travel to Europe later changed his life. He lived in France, Spain, and Italy, studied painting at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, and took acting classes at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York in 1959. Robert Redford's early years were filled with experiences that shaped him. He learned to cope with loss after losing his mother to a heart attack in 1955. His father remarried, and the family moved to a new environment, but Robert always maintained his independence. He began working odd jobs to support himself, from waiting tables to painting, all of which helped build his resilient personality. This period also marked the formation of his passion for art, as he realized that acting and painting could be ways to express his inner feelings. In the 1950s, Robert Redford began to explore the art world seriously. He took art classes in New York, where he met many young artists. The vibrant urban life of New York, in contrast to his childhood in California, broadened his horizons. He often said that his travels in Europe taught him about diverse cultures and the value of creative freedom. This laid the foundation for his later career, which included acting, directing, and producing. The loss of his mother at the age of 19 was a huge blow to Robert Redford. Martha had encouraged him to pursue his artistic interests, and her death sent him into a brief period of depression. He turned to alcohol and traveled to cope, but this led him to pursue a professional career. His father, a strict man, always pushed him to study, but Robert chose his own path. These early years were challenging, but they shaped a determined Robert Redford, ready to face Hollywood. After completing his studies at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, Robert Redford officially entered the New York theater world in the late 1950s. He started with small roles on Broadway, such as in the 1959 play Tall Story, where he played a basketball player. Although the role was not large, it helped him get used to the professional environment. This was followed by The Highest Tree in 1959, a play about the Cold War, where he showed his deep emotional acting ability. In 1961, Robert Redford had a more notable role in Sunday in New York, a romantic comedy. He played a young man, and his performance received critical acclaim. However, his biggest success came in the 1963 play Barefoot in the Park, directed by Neil Simon. He played Paul Bratter, the newlywed husband of Corey, played by Elizabeth Ashley. The play tells the story of a young couple living in a small New York apartment, facing humorous conflicts in their marriage. Redford's natural acting and charisma made the play a hit, running for more than 1,500 performances. The Broadway stage was not only where Redford honed his skills, but also served as a stepping stone to a television career. From 1960, he appeared in a series of series such as Naked City, where he played a young criminal in an episode about street crime. In Maverick, he played a cowboy gunman, showing his versatility. The Untouchables cast him as a gangster, and Perry Mason gave him the opportunity to play a defendant. These roles allowed him to gain experience from dramatic to action. One of his most notable television roles was in The Twilight Zone in 1962, in the episode Nothing in the Dark, where he played death in the form of a young man. He convinced an elderly woman who was afraid of death to accept her fate, and his subtle performance won praise. That same year, he received an Emmy nomination for his role in The Voice of Charlie Pont, a television series about people with disabilities. These years on stage and television were a learning period where Redford learned how to control his emotions and interact with the audience. Redford continued with other plays, such as Little Moon of Alban in 1960, a television drama about religious conflict in Ireland. He played a priest, showing depth of soul. The transition from stage to television was smooth, helping him build his reputation. By 1963, he appeared in Breaking Point, a psychological series playing a mentally ill patient. These roles prepared him for the big screen. The world of theater taught Robert Redford patience and technique. He often worked with famous directors, learning from colleagues such as Elizabeth Ashley. These years were challenging, with a tight schedule and low pay, but they shaped his natural acting style, which was different from the Hollywood style of the time. Robert Redford's personal life was a complex mosaic of family joys, deep love affairs, and the pain of loss that made him more resilient. He first married Lola Van Wagenen, a historian he met in Los Angeles when they were both young, on August 9, 1958. Their marriage began during the difficult early years of Redford's career, when he was still struggling with theater and television. Lola, with her passion for history and society, became a great inspiration for him, especially in his later environmental activism. They had a small wedding in Las Vegas, followed by a second reception at Lola's grandfather's house in Provo, Utah. Their married life revolved around raising a family amid Redford's busy schedule, and Lola often served as the keeper of the fire, supporting him through his early setbacks. The couple welcomed their first child, Scott Anthony Redford, in September 1959. But their joy was short-lived when Scott died just 2 months later from sudden infant death syndrome. The loss was a terrible shock, sending Redford into depression and doubting himself as a father. He often said that Scott's death changed him forever, making him appreciate life more and motivating him to pursue humanitarian projects. Then, they had Shauna Redford in 1960, a lively girl who later became a painter and photographer. Shauna grew up in a creative environment, often attending her father's film shoots and developing a passion for art from a young age. She married journalist Eric Schlosser, author of Fast Food Nation, and they had 3 children, continuing the family's artistic lineage. The third child, David James Jamie Redford, born in 1962, is a documentary filmmaker known for his work on health and the environment. Jamie inherited his father's passion for social work, producing films such as The Big Fix on climate change. However, his life was filled with challenges when he was diagnosed with congenital kidney disease as a child, leading to a kidney transplant from his father in 1985. He later battled liver cancer, undergoing 2 liver transplants in 1993 and 2010, but ultimately died in 2020 at the age of 58 from complications. The loss of Jamie was Redford's second major grief, prompting him to devote more time to health and environmental projects, such as funding cancer research programs. Amy Hart Redford, the youngest child born in 1970, followed her parents into the entertainment industry, becoming an actress and director with films such as The Guitar in 2008. Amy often collaborated with Sundance, produced independent films, and was a great comfort to her father after his loss. The marriage to Lola lasted 27 years, but they divorced amicably in 1985, mainly due to busy schedules and differences in lifestyle. Redford admitted that fame had created distance, but they remained on good terms for the sake of their children. Lola continued her academic career, founded educational institutions, and they often saw each other at family events. After the divorce, Redford had a number of short-lived relationships, but he found true love with Cecil Sagars, a German painter he met in 1996 at an exhibition in New York. They began dating soon after, and the relationship developed slowly, based on their shared interest in art and nature. In 2009, they married in a private ceremony at their home in New Mexico, attended only by family and close friends. Cecil, with her simple lifestyle and passion for abstract painting, brought Redford peace, encouraging him to focus on personal projects in Utah. Redford's family life was always connected to nature and social activism. He and Lola founded the Institute for Resource Management in 1970, an organization that promotes environmental dialogue, where they held workshops with scientists and politicians. Redford often took his children to the Sundance Resort, teaching them to ski and ride horses, creating precious memories. He was a devoted father despite his busy schedule, always making time to read and tell stories to his children. After the divorce, he continued to support his children, funding Jamie and Amy's careers and taking pride in Shauna as she became an art teacher. With Cecil, he lived in a bungalow in Sundance, where they painted and hiked together, away from the noise of Hollywood. Personal losses have shaped Robert Redford profoundly. In addition to Scott and Jamie, he lost his mother to heart disease in 1955 at the age of 19, an event that sent him wandering Europe in search of himself. His father, Charles Redford Sr., died in 1990, and he often recalls his father's harsh lessons in perseverance. Redford also faced skin cancer in 2013, but he overcame it with surgery and a healthy lifestyle, continuing to work. He openly opposed the Vietnam War, participated in protests, and supported civil rights. Influenced by Lola, a lover of nature, he rode horses daily in Utah, skied in the winter, and fished in the rivers and streams, finding them a way to connect with family and himself. His personal life is a testament to the balance between fame and simplicity, where love and loss forged a humane person. Redford has often shared in interviews that his family is his greatest source of strength. With Cecil, he found companionship in his old age, attending Sundance events and traveling to Europe together. His grandchildren Shauna and Amy often visit, bringing laughter and new energy. Despite many losses, Redford always emphasized that they taught him about the fragility of life, motivating him to live more meaningfully through art and social activism. Robert Redford's career has been a brilliant journey with countless awards and honors, reflecting not only his talent, but also his profound influence on popular culture. In 1966, he received the Golden Globe for Best New Actor for Inside Daisy Clover, marking the first step in his journey to conquering major awards. By 1973, his role as Johnny Hooker in The Sting earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Actor, where he competed with names like Jack Nicholson. But the pinnacle came in 1981 with Ordinary People, when he won the Oscar for Best Director, becoming one of the few actors who turned directors to achieve great success. The award not only recognized his skill, but also affirmed his pioneering role in telling deep psychological stories. In 1994, Redford received the Cecil B. DeMille Award at the Golden Globes, honoring his entire career as a Hollywood icon. The award honored his contributions to cinema, from acting to producing. In 2002, he received an honorary Oscar at the 74th ceremony, a touching moment when he spoke about his belief in independent art. The 2010 BAFTA Fellowship from the British Film Institute recognized his global influence, especially through Sundance. In 2016, President Barack Obama awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian award, praising him as a social and environmental activist. He also received the National Medal of Arts in 1996 and the French Legion of Honor in 2010, extending his legacy beyond American borders. Redford received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1994, attracting thousands of visitors each year. The 2005 Kennedy Center Honors was a special night of recognition, with performances from friends like Paul Newman and Jane Fonda. He received the Audubon Medal from the Audubon Society in 1989 for his work on birds and the environment. He was honored with special awards at Sundance, and in 2005, he was honored in the Czech Republic for his influence on European cinema. These awards are more than just trophies. They are a testament to the diversity of his career from actor to director to activist. Robert Redford's legacy is an undying flame, illuminating cinema, the environment, and society for generations. From iconic roles like the Sundance Kid to Bob Woodward, he shaped how we understand the American hero, not as a superhero, but as an ordinary person with both flaws and inner strength. His films, from Butch Cassidy to All Is Lost, not only entertained but challenged audiences to think about justice, ambition, and loneliness, leaving a lasting mark on popular culture. He bridged the gap between classic Hollywood and modern cinema, where personal stories meet big issues. The Sundance Institute is at the heart of his legacy, a living legacy that continues to nurture independent talent. From discovering Tarantino to supporting films about diversity like Moonlight, Sundance democratized cinema, proving that marginalized voices can change the world. Redford not only founded it, but lived its mission, spending decades guiding and funding it, transforming Utah into a global creative hub. Even after his departure, Sundance has expanded with online and international programming, ensuring his vision lives on. An environmental activist, Redford has raised awareness of climate change and conservation, from opposing oil development in Utah to producing films like the Milagro Beanfield War. He has partnered with NRDC and other organizations, using his fame to promote renewable energy and land conservation. His green legacy has inspired generations like DiCaprio, reminding artists that they have a responsibility to the planet. He has also been a voice for social justice, opposing war and advocating for civil rights, influencing contemporary movements. Redford's life has been a lesson in resilience. From family loss to overcoming illness, he has always chosen a meaningful path. His peaceful passing at the age of 89 closes one chapter, but opens countless new ones through the films, festivals, and activism he left behind. The world is a better place because of him, a legend not just on screen, but in the hearts of millions. Robert Redford will forever inspire us, reminding us to live with passion, compassion, and commitment to change. Commitment to change. Commitment to change.